Hey everybody, and Tony here with a review of Verdi's Don Carlo, which I saw at the Staatsoper Schöne Theater. The conductor was Massimo Zanetti, the production was done by Philipp Himmelmann, the sets were done by Johannes Layaker, the costumes were done by Klaus Bruns, the lights were handled by Davy Cunningham, and the chorus master was Martin Wright. I was anticipating this particular production because this was an all-star cast headed by René Pape as King Filippo II, and I'll gladly talk about the singers later, but first, my thoughts on the production. Overall, I found it to be quite meh in its execution. It's not completely excellent, nor is it anything that's horrible. It's just somewhere in the middle. I do like the concept of having a table in the center with four chairs consisting of Carlo, Filippo, Elisabetta, and Eboli, as of though that they are the royalty, in which it is a patriarchal society, mainly a monarchy, headed by King Philip II, his son, Carlo, his future wife, Elisabetta, and of course, Elisabetta's lady-in-waiting, Eboli. And from what I can tell from this entire production, they seem to have moved the action from the 15th to 16th century Spain all the way up to, I would say, the 20th to the 21st century, in which a lot of the characters are wearing suits and ties for the men, and for the women, they wear a lot of short skirts and collared blouses. And speaking of the costumes, a lot of the characters don either white or black or a combination of both. The only characters to show a little bit of diversity in terms of the color schemes are Elisabetta and Rodrigo, in which Elisabetta is seen a multitude of different colored costumes. And with Rodrigo, he starts off by wearing a beige suit and tie and pants. And in his death scene, he basically wears a white collared shirt and black pants and black shoes. Another noticeable facet about this production is the appearance of a woman elegantly dressed in red who is basically the voice from the heaven, welcoming all the souls into the heavenly reign. And she's basically seen as the woman giving a final eulogy to all of the heretics. And speaking of the heretics, in the Auto da Fe scene, we basically see them stripped naked and with their ankles on nooses, and they're basically doused with kerosene, almost about to get ready to be burnt. And once they get hung, it's like, oh my word, this is just shocking. So overall, while I find this entire production of Don Carlo to be okay in its execution, I did find some concepts to be quite brilliant in their own special way. From the whole matriarchy versus patriarchy society, in which patriarchy seems to win, as evidenced when Carlo gets killed off by the guards and Elisabetta is then serving tea to not only Philip but also the Grand Inquisitor. And there is also the fact that we even get to see royalty represented in the table with four chairs. And let's not forget of the fact that Eboli mentioned that she had an affair with a king, and it's also shown right there. It's not just told, but it's also shown right there. So, I'm not gonna mince words here. The production was okay, but there were some concepts which I kind of enjoyed from time to time. And now we get to the singers, starting off with Fabio Sartori as our titular hero. And I really love his huge spinto tenor voice, which I definitely enjoyed so much. The way he produced his high notes and the way he was able to phrase all of the notes very, very wonderfully was just so well done in my ears. And his stage presence was actually a lot better from what I've been seeing him from the likes of the concert version of Norma and even Tosca, both of them from last year. I definitely have to say that his acting is slightly more involved as Don Carlo, but more than anything, he was able to keep great track of the one asset that really made him stand out, and that is his strong sounding spinto tenor voice, complete with blazing high notes and a really great timbre. Now, you can't have a great Don Carlo without a wonderful Filippo il Secondo. And thank goodness for the likes of René Pape, who, as always, was a master in embodying this particular role, almost to the point of being one of his signature roles of all time. The way he was able to embody Filippo il Secondo was that he was able to make him powerful and strong. I mean, the way he approached Massimo Cavalletti's Posa almost made me think that he was going to backhand slap Posa when he approached him and they were having this type of bodily contact with each other. It made me realize, oh my goodness, what is Filippo going to do to Posa? Is he gonna backhand slap him or just really warn him that the Grand Inquisitor is on the prowl against all of these heretics? And that's one thing I definitely love so much about René Pape, as I've always seen him. He manages to embody a great amount of nobility and strength in each of the characters he does, which is no wonder why he is such a great expert in embodying roles like König Marke, Heinrich der Vogler, and of course the devilish roles of Mephistopheles, and of course Filippo il Secondo. So I'm not going to mince words here about René Pape as Filippo il Secondo. He was the absolute standout out of all the soloists. Then we go to the Grand Inquisitor, sung by Mikhail Kazakov, a basso I have never heard of before, and he did sing the role pretty well. In fact, he had a very fine and kind of plush sounding basso cantante voice. But if you know me, and I hate sounding like a broken record, I sort of miss that true basso profondo tones. You know, the cavernous voices of the likes of Gottlob Frick, Kurt Böhme, Giulio Neri, Josef Greindl, Ivo Vinco, Manfred Schenk, Karl Ridderbosch, Martti Talvela, Matti Salminen, and what we've been having today with the likes of Erik Halvorsen, Hans-Peter König, and Albert Pesendorfer, and of course, Luis Ottavio Faria. Now, in terms of Mikhail Kazakov as the Grand Inquisitor, while his stage appearance was quite spry, I felt like his voice was missing a few things, like that signature basso profondo plushness I always like in any Grand Inquisitor. But he was able to embody this role quite well. He was able to make him quite active while keeping his blindness, but at the same time, quite strong in his own special way. Though I would have loved to have a true basso profondo embody this part. We could have had someone like Albert Pesendorfer or Stephen Milling or Hans-Peter König to play the Grand Inquisitor, but I digress. I still think that Mikhail Kazakov did a pretty good job embodying the Grand Inquisitor. Jan Martinik did a very amazing job singing the role of the monk, in which his plush basso cantante slash profondo voice was put to great use in this particular role, and he was able to make the best out of this particular character part. Then we go to Massimo Cavalletti as Rodrigo di Posa, and while I like his dashing and youthful and elegant stage presence, there were a few things missing in his voice. Now, don't get me wrong, that's not to say I don't like his voice. In fact, I find his baritone voice to be noble, dashing, mellow, and it was just very expressive vocally. Now, as an actor, he kind of is a bit stolid and a little bit of a one expression type of singer. But despite some of those foibles, he still managed to give a good performance of Posa, and his voice had that dashing quality, and it was quite masculine throughout all the registers, and I thought he was at his very best in the later acts, most specifically acts 2 and 3. And of course, I liked his interpretation of the Carlo Posa duet along with Fabio Sartori, as their voices blended quite well, though Sartori seemed to get the upper hand in terms of vocal power. But despite some foibles, I definitely have to say that Massimo Cavaletti did a pretty solid job singing the role of Rodrigo di Posa. Then we go to Elisabetta di Valois, sung by Liana Harotonian, in which she had a very gorgeous spinto soprano voice. It's full and rich, and at the same time blasts some laser like high notes. Now, I first saw and heard this particular spinto soprano in the Royal Opera House's production of Il Trovatore, where she sang Leonora d'Aragon. And I thought she did a really great job in that particular role. And hearing her live was all the more satisfying. I get the great pleasure of hearing that plush, rich, and laser like spinto soprano voice live, which I definitely enjoyed. And she was completely committed to her character. She embodied Elisabetta with beauty and dignity and a certain amount of vulnerability that she has in certain scenes. And I thought it was a well done performance of a really iconic Verdi heroine. Then we go to La Principessa d'Eboli, sung superbly by Marina Prudenskaya. And I thought that she did a great job singing Eboli. She was, as always, really seductive on stage. She was able to use her sleek and slim figure to the best of her abilities and to her advantage, and she was able to make the best out of Eboli. She sang Ne Giardin de Bello and Odon Fatale superbly. She was able to hit all of her high notes wonderfully, and she just had a commanding stage presence. And of course, her duet with Elisabetta, Pietà Perdon, was very well done, as you can hear their voices, that of Harotonian's and Prudenskaya's, blend superbly, and especially the quartet done with Papa, Cavaletti, Harotonian, and Prudenskaya. Their voices blended superbly, and Prudenskaya as a standalone singer was great in her own way. We even get some superb singing from the smaller roles of Conte di Lerma and the Herald, sung by Milos Bulajic, in which his light tenor voice was fine throughout all the registers, Narine Yegian's show-stealing Tebaldo, in which she was very youthful, charming, and quite boyish, and of course the wonderful Evelyn Novak, who embodied the celestial voice with heavenly beauty. She was just heavenly in that red gown, and she looked quite regal. So overall, the singing was quite great all around. The absolute standout definitely had to be René Pape as Filippo il Secondo, and the conducting done by Massimo Zanetti was superb all around. And let's not forget about the chorus and orchestra of the Staatsopernmusik Theater. They were all excellent all around. So overall, while I'm not a huge fan of the production, I have to say that the cast of singers held up superbly in their own special ways, and special kudos also has to go to René Pape for his always superb portrayal of Filippo II. And for those of you who saw this particular production of Don Carlo, what did you think of it? Was there a singer who stood out to you so much? Did you feel that René Pape was, as always, a great singer in this particular role? Or did you feel like there was someone from the cast or the orchestra or the crew that stuck out like a sore thumb? Comment below and let me know. Well, that's all for now. I hope you all had a very great Pentecostal Sunday. So until then, good night, everybody.